Okay, good morning everybody. My name is Jernej, I'm a trainer. We'll do the argumentation together. Are you ready? Yay? So basically, what we are going to do today is talk about arguments. Yeah? So what are the arguments? We all know that the argument is the most important part of the speech. It's the core of the speech. And I will try to lead you through your speech, and we will try to build the arguments together. Yeah? And like Gora said, afterwards you are having exercises. Yeah? Okay? Now, first thing I would like to talk about is about who is persuasive speaker.
Jernej?
Yeah.
Can you stop? That we see, because we need to, like, I'm not sure where the cameramen people are.
Okay.
They were supposed to take that, and
we will wait.
Yeah, I'm not sure, so just wait a bit.
Okay. Can we start?
Mislim, čakam na tema kamera, guys, that they appear magically somewhere, because the guys that are taking care of this thingy. No, I don't want to do that.
No to nevadí, když tam.
Okay guys, sorry for the delay. Now we will start. So for a start, who is a persuasive speaker? A persuasive speech has to be... Yes? Come on. Come on. It has to answer 3 parts. The first part is called logos. Logos is the first part. And the second part is pathos. Those are all Greek words. Okay? Pathos. And the last part is ethos. Okay? So the first part refers to mind. In speech we are answering one question, what? Okay? What are we talking about? Okay? Pathos. It refers to the question, how? How? And the last part is ethos, refers to the person who. So basically, ethos is a point of view of the speaker, my position on the topic. Okay? Do you understand me? It's my position on the topic. Pathos. Again, it refers to me, how I'm expressing the words, in what way I'm saying this and this. Okay? Is it passionate enough? Is it, I don't know, rational enough? Okay? Logos, it's like you said, what was your name?
Lena.
Can you explain us once again?
Logos like logic, rational, mind, like facts, based on facts.
So, how good, basically, this is how good are we explaining, so how reasonable are we on some topic? Yeah? Okay? And now, what we are going to do. So, is this clear for everybody? Now, what we are going to do, we will go through the speech, yeah? And we will define everything in the speech. So, then after this session, you will have exercises and arguments. So, you will be able to do that, okay? Now, the speech should be always divided in 3 parts. So, let's say introduction, and then you have so-called the middle part, the core of the speech, and conclusion. Introduction. What do you think should be in the introduction?
Problems. Presenting the problems.
Presenting the problems, yeah? What is wrong? So why are we discussing about this topic? Yeah? What is wrong with the status quo? What should be done better? Why? Okay? So you have, in the introduction, you introduce the main idea of the speech. Okay? The main idea that you are standing for should be in the introduction. Okay? So the idea. Now we will concentrate on this part because the middle part is the most important part of the speech. Okay? So I will just go for another one. Now the middle part of the speech is if this is the idea. Idea. Oh, by the way, this is an umbrella. Okay. The middle part of the speech are the arguments below. Huh? Here are, let's say, 4 arguments for this idea. Okay? And this is the introduction. Okay? Intro. Okay? And this is now the middle part of the speech. Okay? Is that clear? Okay. And now we are narrowing the story, as you can see. First, we will start here. Now we'll try to build an argument. This is an argument. Okay? Cool? So I will move to the next one. So now the argument is the core of the speaker. This is the most important part of the speech. Okay? So basically, each argument should have 3 parts. And then, if you have those 3 parts, you are persuasive. So you are persuasive. Huh? You are persuasive. Assertion, reason, evidence. Okay? So each argument has those 3 parts. Assertion, reason, evidence. Okay? Are you still sleepy because you look afraid and stuff? I don't bite, don't worry. It's fine. Okay? Is everything clear? So let's start with this part. Assertion. What is assertion? Assertion is the address of the argument. It's the etiquette that usually judges write down. So it's the name of your argument. Yeah? So it's really important. It has to be short. So the assertion, it has to be short, it has to be clear, really clear. And in one sentence, you have to cover the meaning of the whole argument. Do you understand? So the assertion has to be positioned like that the whole argument is explained in this. So basically this means we all know what we are talking about, what the argument is going to be about. Okay? This is the assertion. It has to be clear, it has to be short, and usually, remember, judges will write this assertion down, for sure. So be careful when you are giving the address to the argument. This is the first part. Okay? Now, the second part. So, basically, in my experience as a judge, the first part and the last part are going through. But the hardest part of the argument is always this part. Okay? And we will spend a little more time on this part now, because the second part of the argument, the most important part, is reasoning. Yeah. So each argument should have a reason. Yeah. Now I will show you few types, let's say 3 types of reasoning. So reasoning, and the first type of the reasoning is so-called induction. Induction. Okay? So, induction. What is induction?
Going from specific to general.
Okay, great. So, induction is going from specifics to general. Can you give me an example?
It's like using a statistic
could be, but with example. Mary Smith is tall, Jack Smith is tall. Mary Smith is tall, the Smith family is tall. This is an induction, but what is wrong with it? Not all of the Smiths are tall, and one premise is still missing. I will write it down. Mary Smith is tall, John Smith is tall, therefore the Smith family is tall, or the Smiths are tall. Okay? This is induction, but what is wrong with it?
It's not really strong. It's not strong.
It's not really strong. Why not?
Because you're not given like evidence to say that the whole Smith family is tall.
Yeah. And there is still one premise missing. Which one?
That Mary and John are all members of the family.
Yes. So that they are related. Do you understand me? So this induction would be stronger if we would say Mary Smith is tall, John Smith is tall, Mary Smith and John Smith are the family or are in our relatives or something like that. This means the Smith family is probably tall. This would be stronger deduction. Yes? Okay, now when we are dealing with the induction, we never can say this reasoning is true. We only can say with induction that induction is strong or weak. Here is not true or false. You can only have strong induction, so strong persuasion, strong reasoning, or weak reasoning. That's it. Yeah? So now we will go through testing the induction. So how do we test our induction? Yeah? So the first thing we have to do, we have to ask ourselves when we are doing induction, are our examples cultural sensitive enough? So this is the first test of induction. So cultural sensitivity. Yeah? What do I mean by that?
Is it possible to apply in every culture?
Yes, that's it. Am I using examples that are maybe true in, I don't know, Asia, but they don't somehow work in United States or in America or in Europe or in Africa and so on. Yeah? So the first thing we have to test is cultural sensitivity when using induction. The second thing, we have to ask ourselves, are there any big negative examples? Yeah? Are there any negative, really big examples? Yeah? That would disprove my claim. Okay? So the third test would be, are the examples that are being used in our speech, are they covering proper time, culture, yeah? So are they being in time or are they already, somehow passé? Okay? And the last question would be the representative of the examples. You were talking about statistics, so the representative of examples. Yeah? When are our examples representative? Okay? What is the representative? What does that mean?
Basically it means that the argument we are using and the fact that we have can be applied to a larger group of people because it represents cultural differences.
And which argument is representative? when we are talking about statistics, for example, something like that.
Yeah, that one which are supported by someone who is called, named like an expert by most of people.
Okay.
That's representative for us.
Okay.
Or statistics that cover the majority of the cases.
Of the cases. Okay. If you are using statistics, we will talk about the statistics later, but still, when talking about the induction, what do we have to be careful with statistics?
If it's actual.
Actual, okay.
If it is out of context.
Out of context. And what is the representative of statistics? If you have a research that may be true, but the representative of the statistics means that if you want to make a general out of something specific, then it has to be general. So it has to cover the proper gender, the proper age, and everything. So if the, I don't know, national average age of Slovenia is 55, then you should use, when talking about Slovenians, you should use the statistics that cover the age of 55. It has to have the same average as the population. Do you understand me? It has to have the same gender structure as the population. Do you get me or not? Yeah? So this is the representative, then the statistics is representative. Okay? If you are having the research that is covering the same structure as the population and as you are talking about in your speech. You got that covered? For sure? If not, please ask questions. Please. Okay. Now, like I told you, induction can only be true, only be strong or weak. It cannot be true or false. And it's up to you how do you use it, but when you are using it, and you are not using it a lot in debates, be careful. It can be really useful, but if it's weak, then probably you will lose the debate. Okay? So, the induction. The second thing, so the second reasoning is deduction. It's the other way around. And this is something you use very often. Yeah? Deduction. Deduction. So now we know few deductions, and first one is categorical deduction. Category. Okay. This is basically when you name the category, yeah? So you name the category, a group, yeah? You find the name for that group, and then you find or locate an item or a person, yeah? In that group and claim something that is true for the group should be true for each member of this group. Okay? Can you write that down? Yeah. So what is true for the whole is also true for the part. Example. Can you name one example?
For example, if we say that we're living in a democratic world, then we can say, for example, that Japan is a democratic country.
Okay. Okay. We live in a democratic world. Japan is a part of
Of
the
the
world,
world and
and yes, this means Japan is a democracy. Is a democracy. Okay? Yes, this would be a deduction. Yeah? This is the example of deduction. We will go through all those things then with one example. I will show you how to build an argument with idea. Okay? So, okay, this is the deduction. What is wrong with that deduction? Japan.
It's not the only country in the world.
What?
It's not the only country in the world.
Yes. So, you have to be always careful. And deduction is not weak or strong. Deduction is true or false. Yeah? So be careful. And this deduction is false. Why? Because not always what is... Yeah. So, just say it once again.
the general premise is
Yeah, but not the general premise is wrong, and so not everything that is true is also the vice versa. Not everything that is true for the whole is true for each part. So yeah, be careful here. The second thing you have to be careful is wrong categorization. So this item, person, this thing may not be in this category. Yeah? So this is the second test. So the first test was what is the truth for the whole. That doesn't mean it's the truth for each part. The second test is wrong categorization. Okay? And the third test of deduction is that the conclusion might be improperly stated. So the conclusion might be improperly stated. It can be really dangerous here to use this deduction because our social experiences are limited. You have to understand that when you speak, you have to be real. So speech, when you are talking, you are a part of the society and it has to be real. And our social experiences are limited. So this means when we are focusing the category, we might be limited here with our social experiences. We have to keep that in mind. Yeah? So this categorical deduction can be dangerous sometimes, yeah? Because we are limited with our space, our culture, the place we are living, and so on, and are not cultural sensitive enough for the other parts of the world, let's say. So be careful here. Okay? And this is the third test. Any questions so far? Good morning. No? Is everything clear? Yes, for sure? Okay. Let's move on then. Our third, or second deduction, sorry, is disjunctive deduction. Disjunctive deduction. We're using this deduction usually when we have to pick a choice. Yeah? When we have to pick a choice. We have two choices and we have to decide whether I should do this or this. Yeah? And of course, we are in debate, we are deciding for, let's say, the better choice or the lesser evil. Okay? So, better choice, lesser evil. Lesser evil. So you have to prove what? First thing you have to prove that your choice is better than the other one. Okay? So you have two jobs here. First one is you have to prove that your choice is better than the other one.
Okay. So we should criticize the evidence. We should take a critical stance to the evidence. I do agree with that.
And then in the next step, you have to prove that choosing the other one will be bigger evil. Okay? The example is, okay, let's be simple and say, I don't know what should I do tonight, whether I should go, I don't know, out or let's say, whether I'm going out and I can't decide whether I should go for a movie or dinner. So this is a choice I have to make. What is the problem with this deduction? Movie or dinner? Both are okay.
Two different categories.
Yes, but this is not categorical deduction, so it's okay. It's not, the category is not a problem. It's this one, disjunctive. Okay? So what's the problem here? Now we are testing this deduction, that's why I'm asking what's the problem.
Well, it's very subjective. You can't really apply it to everyone.
Yeah, but let's be subjective, because it's simpler for you to understand.
For example, if you choose the movie, you won't basically eat, because if you went to the dinner, you ate. And if you go to the dinner, you won't see the movie. So, you know.
The main problem is, it's simple, that usually we don't have, and this is the problem with this deduction, we usually don't have only those two choices. That's the first problem. And the second problem is, usually we can do them both. Yeah. I can go for dinner and I can have a movie. Okay? You understand? So this is the problem. And when you're debating, this is a really simple example. There is a lot of times you say, okay, we have two choices. Whether we, I don't know, whether we close this factory or the other choice is and have fresh air, and the other choice is we have air pollution. And that's a mistake, because there has to be a third option. Yeah, somewhere in between maybe. You understand? So be careful when you're debating. Don't propose, don't think that there can be two options, but usually there are not. Yeah? There is always a third, almost always a third option, yeah, that you can choose. Okay?
My theory is saying that people follow laws just because they are afraid of the punishment. And because that is one of the biggest fears of every human being. We believe
I would just like to point one thing here. These things that we are doing today is not that you should learn them and, you know, just try to remember them. It has to become, you will be preparing for your case, for debates, you won't be thinking, okay, is this categorical, is this disjunctive, is this the assertion, is this the reason? No, it has to become a part of your mind somehow. It's called practice. Yeah? I'm just explaining you the theory behind it, so it will be more clear for you, but it has to become a part of you. You have to start think like that somehow in the process. It's a process, yeah? So don't worry. If you don't understand everything, please ask questions, but you don't have to learn it, you know. This is categorical, and you don't build a case, you know, like, is this induction, deduction, we have to specify this. No. Yeah? It just has to become a process of your mind. Okay? Somewhere behind. Yeah? Behind the topic you are discussing or thinking about. Okay? Okay. This is categorical, disjunctive reduction, sorry. Any questions so far? No questions. Okay. Are you tired or is everything really clear?
It is pretty good.
Oh, you A, B, yes, C. It's called hypothetical reduction, or let's call it, yeah. Let's call it, we also call it causal reasoning. Okay? This is causal reasoning. A has an effect that produces B. Okay? Smoking causes cancer. Okay? Yeah? Smoking causes cancer. Okay? Now, this is causal reasoning. It's very often used in the debate, especially when we are talking about, I don't know, you will be discussing about ecology. Yeah? You will use this causal reasoning. What are the causes for air pollution? Okay? But you have to be careful here. Is this, the first test would be, is this the most significant cause for this? Okay? Is smoking the most significant cause for getting cancer? Yeah. That's the first test. The second test, the second question you should ask yourself is, are there any other important causes for this effect? So, are there any important causes for cancer other than smoking? Okay? And when we are talking about this significant causes, we know original and contributing causes. For example, original cause for pregnancy is what? Okay, sex is an act, yeah, having sex is an act, but two cells join together and they have a baby, yeah, okay? This is original cause. And what can be, and nothing else can produce that, okay? This is the original cause, okay? Okay, two cells join together. It's really biological and so on, but this is the truth. This is the original cause. What can be a contributional cause?
Making clones. Making clones.
Clones?
Clones.
Ah, making clones. Okay, nothing but for this. Okay, let's move out of the biology. But if you are making clones, you are still joining the cells, so you didn't do anything new. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move to something contributional.
For having a baby.
Yeah. No, not for having. So the original cause for pregnancy is joining two cells. What can be a contributional cause to this event? Alcohol. Bad decision. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
Okay? This could be Yeah? Something contributional. And you always have to think about those things. Is my cause original enough? Or is just a contributional cause? Okay? I'm not saying you shouldn't use contributional causes. You should use them, but just be aware of them. Just know that you're using them, okay? So be prepared in the debate that somebody says, yes, but okay, they won't say it, it's not original cause, and you won't say it, it's not original cause. But yes, they will say, okay, we can agree on that, but for this decision, it was another circumstance, another thing, so many things going on, so your cause might be not the most important one, or so on. Yeah? So just think about it in the background. Okay? Yes, counteractive causes. The next test of hypothetical deduction. Sorry. Counteractive causes. So, my occupation, let's say, I will give an example. My occupation, so my profession where I'm working, causes lung disease. Okay? This is an example. What can we do about it?
Not work for having a disease.
Don't work there. Buy, I don't know, respirator, I'm not sure all this technical stuff. But buy something that, yeah? So you don't work there. That's a counteractive cause. So, you know, they will always tell you, so quit your job, find another one. Yeah? Don't work here. Yeah? You have to be prepared for that. Okay? Yeah. And then the last question. Coincidence or causality? Causality. Coincidence or causality? Is this effect just a coincidence, or is it really a true causal reason? Yeah? Do you understand? So premise, it can't be coincidence. Yeah? Okay? It can't be coincidence. But give me some example of coincidence. Let's say death penalty reduces number of criminals. Yeah? Okay? This can be true, but this also may be just a coincidence. That when a country somehow introduced the death penalty as a law, yeah, the number of criminals lowered or decreased or something like that. Yeah? Okay? This can be a coincidence. So you have to do the research. Yeah? And there are also some reasons here. So here is a causality in between, yeah? Between cause and effect. Yeah? There are some examples that look like they're causal, but they're actually not. Yeah? You have another cause for this effect. This cause just seems like a proper cause, but it's not. For example, violence in the family. The cause for violence in the family is alcohol. Yeah? You understand?
Yeah.
It can be, but it also could be the other way around. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because of the family, yeah. Because of the family violence,
They drink.
they drink. Do you understand? Okay. Be careful what is the cause, and if it's the main cause and if the causality is proper. So, does it really exist? Okay?
You can say cancer is caused due to smoke, but you can say smoking caused cancer.
Yeah. This, the other way around, would be probably unacceptable, I think. Yeah? Okay? With smoke. Okay. That's it. Okay. Now, I will try. So, these are what we have done. Let's just repeat this. What we have done here, once again. So, we did these 3 parts that each speaker should cover. Then we went to the speech, yeah, and we started with middle part of the speech, and we just put the idea in the introduction. Yeah? Okay. Then this idea, this introduction, yeah, should be covering those arguments. And now we started this form of the argument. Now I will try to do with you what does this mean? The idea covers those arguments. Because we are finished now with this R part, we just need to do, this is the easiest part, and I think everybody knows it, this is the support, evidence, example. Okay? So we will discuss about it later, but I think we should do an example. I have here an example on death penalty. Okay? So the example, the idea of, so we would like to implement a death penalty as a law in some country. Yeah? That's the idea. Okay? Now, what should we do? So the main idea that we are standing for is, let's say, safer society, greater good, and so on. Yeah? So the idea is safer society, greater good, less criminals, and so on. Yeah? Okay? That's the general idea. Now I have to do the arguments. Yeah? And we won't structure the whole arguments, we will just give the assertions. Okay? Okay? Because we don't have enough time. You will build the arguments on exercise. We will do them on exercise. Okay? Now, okay, if this is the basic idea, all the answers, all the arguments should answer to this idea. And this is a very common mistake you do in the debates. So all the answers should have an impact back. Yeah? Impact back. Yes.
So if we're, the main idea is talking about the greater good, we can't really bring up the economy.
No. That's the basic idea. But it depends. I will show you how. You can sometimes do it because economy, if you are having a greater good, let's say safer society, greater good, then economy doesn't really clash here with greater good. It can be put, it can be in here, but sometimes not. So I will show you and then we will discuss it. I have written few arguments. The first one is decreasing the number of crime. Yeah? This is the first one. So decreasing the number of crime. Okay? The second one is eliminating the danger. Eliminating the danger. And because it's also, I have here written greater good, you can put the economical part and say, let's say, it's cheaper than imprisonment. Okay? In that way, yeah. Cheaper than imprisonment. Sorry for my lovely handwriting. Okay? Now I have one argument. Number 4. Yes?
But aren't first and second argument pretty much the same thing? And if we are decreasing the number of crimes and we are...
No, I was referring to, it's just an assertion. Eliminating the danger means the danger from the street, so the people won't fear going out anymore and so on. And here is about, this one is about numbers. Yeah? This one is about statistics, okay? Do you get me?
Yeah.
This one is about people,
yeah,
not feeling the fear anymore, okay? Yeah.
How does the first argument impact the idea if it's not connected with eliminating the danger? It must result with eliminating the danger to impact the idea.
Yeah.
Safer society.
Yeah? We have safer society, yeah?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Well, if we decrease the crimes, the number of crimes, it must result with eliminating the danger to impact the idea. Which means the first argument is going through the second argument.
Yes, they are connected. Of course they are connected, but here you will talk about people feeling safer. Here you will put the numbers in. Do you understand me? So they are two different arguments. Okay? Now the fourth is now clear? Everything? Yeah? Okay? Now the fourth one is, I will just put one word and you will know what we are talking about. Revenge. This is the fourth argument. So, they committed such crimes that they deserve a revenge. They have to die because they committed so many murders and so on. So, do you see now? The first three, let's say, this one conditionally, but still is covered under this umbrella. But this one, revenge, doesn't have anything with greater good, safer society, and so on and so on. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
So, when you're building the arguments, you have to have one idea. You have to know what you are standing for when you're talking. And then, when you are building the arguments, you should make an impact back to the same idea. So, but a lot of times you do like maybe two arguments and then you put the third one, which is totally clashing the, but not really clashing. It doesn't feel right to be there because you, as a proposition, are standing for this, and then you come with some artificial argument. I don't know where from. Do you understand me? And this is. Judge will probably deduct some points because of this. Okay. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. The example is okay now? Understandable? Okay. Now let's move on. So we've done this. We've done the umbrella. Reasoning. Now let's move on to the third part of the argument, which is evidence. Evidence.
I will probably get caught, and I will probably punished by death. And because one of my reasons here is that I actually don't want to do it. That's why.
So, what is evidence? An example? Yeah? Okay. What? Can you give me some specifics or the
Statistics.
yes, okay, let's start with the statistics. Okay, statistics. Okay, this is the most commonly used evidence is statistics. We were talking about statistics. Be careful when you're using it. So, is it the right research for our discussion? This is the first question. So, is it the right research for our discussion? Are there any other important researches being done on this topic that would rebuttal or negate my strategy? And my advice, don't build your cases on statistics. Because what happens a lot of times in the debate is that Group A comes with the statistics that sounds pretty legit, it's okay. And the Group B comes up also with another statistics that sounds okay, legit. And then the judge has two statistics. No. Eliminate them. So judge won't judge the statistics, and he will judge the other things in the debate. So don't build your case on the statistics, because it can happen that the other group. So this is just statistics is just an addition. Is to make your claims real in real life. You make an impact to the real life. Yeah. Okay. You connect your arguments, your statements, your point of view to the real life with the statistics. This is just an addition. It cannot be the core of the debate. Yeah? Because like I said, the other group can also bring some relevant statistics, and then the judge won't weigh which statistics might be better. But no, he will look at other things in the debate. Yeah? So we are forced sometimes not to count in the statistics. Okay? We can also use as evidence or support some general facts. So general facts, so stuff that we all know are true, are also can be used in the debate. I don't know. I have a simple example. Water and oil don't mix. Yeah, this is really a stupid one, but this is a general fact. But be careful. Don't start the debate with, we all know that this and this, and there are very few things in the world that we all know. Very few. Yeah? We all can think something, but we all know very few things. Yeah? So be careful when you don't start any debates with, we all know that this and this is really good. Yeah, for you maybe, but not for me. Okay? Okay. And then the last one are scientific proofs. Yeah? Researches. Yeah? And again, they're always welcome. Use them. Find them. They're good. But be careful. Are there any important negative examples in terms of negative researches that would make my research, you know, irrelevant or something like that? So, is this research really important research? Is it recognized by I don't know, broader society? Can I use it in as an example, or are there any other important main researchers that would so somehow disprove my claim? Okay? Okay. Now we have an argument. You have A part, you have R part, and you have E part. So now you are persuasive. Okay? When you have all three parts, and this I really mean, you don't have to think about induction, deduction, because when we are talking about debate, I have to repeat this one. Yeah. When we are talking about debate, it's usually, like I told you, it's this part is okay, and this part goes through, but this part is missing. You don't have to think about the reason once again, but you think about three parts. You have to have three parts. Argument won't be good without explanation, without this reasoning it won't have the logic. And if the argument doesn't have the logic, then you are failing it. Yeah? Then you are relying only on example or statistics or something else. But this is it. You have to give me a reason. Yeah? Don't think about hypothetical or categorical, disjunctive or whatever, but think about how to explain me this claim of yours. Okay?
What every statistic is showing is that two things
Questions?
happen at the same time. Yeah? If I
No
will
questions.
fall down in the next 3 minutes, right in the moment when somebody will walk into the room, it will be 100%
In one speech?
between
Of course.
somebody stepping
You can do different arguments, of course.
So, in an argument.
In one argument. No. You have to use one reasoning. Yeah? But this causal and deductive is really one thing. So, yeah, it's somehow covered. Yeah? Be careful, like I said, be careful with induction. Yeah? So that you don't come with some black swan effect. Do you know the story? No? Black swan effect. Okay. Until I think 15th century, I'm not sure if the story will be the whole correct, but I just remembered it. Until the 16th centuries, people were sure that all the swans are white. Yeah? And the claim was the swan is white. And then I think in New Zealand, in 16th century, they found the black swan, the first one. And the whole truth failed. You understand me? Yeah. So be careful with the induction. You cannot claim that this is true. It's just the strong proof that might be my argument is stronger than yours, but it's not true. Okay? So be careful. And the black swan effect shows us that induction can really be, rebutted with one really good, big, important example. And this was one really black swan, yeah? Because all others, and they were sure the swans were white. Okay? Okay. Anything else? Yes, you can, but you can choose whatever reasoning you would like for an argument. Yeah? Okay. Anything else? Okay. Second part is also, we were still doing the argumentation, but now we have built the speech. So yeah, the conclude now. Sorry. Now we have this middle part. We have the umbrella, the idea. No? Now the conclusion. The conclusion basically is when you say something nice. You try to make the last impression on judge. Yeah? So you have to repeat somehow in a few sentences what you have told us in 1 minute, and then conclude with, I don't know, something big. Okay? Something to remember. Yeah? And this is the conclusion. Yeah? It has to be repeated. The argument should be, at least the assertions should be somehow told again. Okay? And then you use the conclusion for maybe impress the judge with some, I don't know, joke. But then again, we were discussing yesterday, don't use jokes when you're talking about that kind of thing or something like that. Don't smile when you're talking about sad things. So be realistic, be real in the debate. And if you feel like, I'm not saying now cry in the debate, but if you really feel, if you're keen for a reason, then you should show me that you feel for this thing. You should be passionate about it. Okay? Conclusion. Now we are going to the second part of this lecture, which is rebutting an argument. So the rebuttal. how can we, the ways of rebuttaling this argument. Okay?
I just have a question. You talk about conclusion. Should it be a kind of recapitulation of what has been done earlier? Or should it be
Yeah. It's a like I said, you should at least repeat what you were talking about in few sentences. Yes, it's recapitulation of everything you were saying, but then for the finish, you should come up with something to impress the judge.
a one-liner?
One-liner, let's say a joke or yeah. Okay. But it's up to you. You don't. It's not. This is just my advice would be. But if not, this is not a deduction of points. It's not a bad thing if you don't do it. But still, if you have two equal teams, then small things can count. Do you understand? If you are debating, if you are in competition, and you have basically two things which are really good, yeah, then the small things will start to count. Yeah? And then we are talking about public speaking, approaching the topic, discussing it, and so on. Yeah? So it's sometimes these small things can really count. Okay? Of course, I'm not saying that you will you will win the debate because you will tell me a really good jokes. Don't count on this. Yeah? It has to have everything else before that, but this is just something for the top. Okay? Did I answer your question? Yeah? Okay. Rebuttaling. Second part. Now, basically what we will do here is I will show you what to rebuttal in the speech and how to do it. Yeah? So, but then again, I have to point out that this is theory. In theory is like that. In practice, you will use, of course you will use this theory, but you will do it your way. You won't think about, because we will do some fallacies. You won't think, oh, this is that and that fallacy. No. You will just know that they did something wrong. Yeah? Okay? So this is theory, and you have to bring this theory in living in the debate. Okay? Yeah? It has to be real. Okay? Now, we have, when we are rebutting, we have to be really clear. We have to point out which part of the proposition case are we rebutting. Is it the whole argument? So, we have to identify let's say the topic of rebuttal. So, this means we have to specify, identify what we are rebutting. So, is it the whole argument? Is it the reasoning that is not okay? Are the evidences, or is the evidence wrong? Or is the whole model of their proposal wrong, and we're rebutting the whole model? So we have to be really clear here, because the judge will write again. The judges will write this sentence down for sure. You have different judges. Some write a lot. For example, me, I'm the judge who writes almost everything, because I really don't believe that human memory is so intact. Yeah, it's so perfect that I would remember everything. So, and the majority of judges do that because we feel that it's really unfair to the debater, towards the debaters, that I would write down and then I would miss something that, you know, somebody told me and I didn't write it down, and I could maybe heard it, but I didn't remember it. So the judges will write this thing down. So we have to be really clear which part of their speech or their proposal is being negated. Okay? Now, how do you do that? Again, this is my suggestion how to make that clear, but it's your choice. 4 steps of rebutting. First step. So 4 steps of rebutting. First step. They say.
And that's why, yeah? By accepting the induction, yeah, which is trying to induce general.
And we have now. They say, and you can write down this my example. The other team said that smoking is harmful for non-smokers. Yeah. So the first part is they say, and the other team said smoking is harmful for non-smokers. Yeah? Is an example. Okay?
Now, the problem here.
Yeah? Okay. Now the second step would be, but we disagree.
You cannot say that induction is true or false. There is no false to induction. Induction can be just more powerful or less powerful. And what you
But we disagree. Yeah?
Induction reasoning, you have to show us why your induction
Because
is powerful.
the example, yeah, that might be true, but we think that if non-smokers want to avoid cigarettes, cigarette smoke, sorry, they can walk away from it. Yeah? This is the example for step 2. Once again, this might be true, but I think that if non-smokers wanted to avoid cigarette smoke, they can walk away from it. Now again, even in rebuttal, remember this third part is really important. I will write one blue. Because is the third part. And the example is because non-smokers should look out for their own health. This is the way to do it. So this is a very clear way to do it. So you are very clear on a specific. So they say, this part means, they say, and then you can rebuttal like you said. Whole argument, just the evidence, the reasoning, blah blah blah. It's up to you what you do it, but you have to be really clear here. Okay? Okay. Now this is how you do it. Now what you can rebuttal is the next thing. So in rebuttaling, so there is a common mistake in debate that you have to rebuttal like that you show the total opposite side. They're claiming this is true, and we now have to prove that this is not true. No, this is not rebuttaling. There will be really few times that you will able to do that you will show that they are completely wrong. It's not your job when rebuttaling to show that they are completely wrong. You just have to make their argument maybe irrelevant for some cases, and this is just enough. Do you understand? So just make it irrelevant. You don't have to show me that this is completely wrong, because I assume that we all are reasonable human beings, and nobody would use arguments that would be completely wrong. Yeah. So it's also a respect to to other team. Yeah. You are completely wrong. Come on, this is not realistic. Be real. Okay, this might go with this and this and this, but it doesn't go with this and this, and our proposal is. Do you understand? Okay? So do it like that. Of course, the most elegant one is if you can manage that you overtake the argument of the opposite team. So the proposition makes an argument, and you come up and say, okay, this is argument for our side. Okay, this is the most elegant, the most successful, and so on. But it's really a hard one. This is the second option you can do. The third option is, like I said, you can find some mistakes in evidence, in reasoning, yeah? Minding this, what we have been doing in the first part. And then the last part is, you can find fallacies in their claims. So this is the last part we are doing, fallacies. Okay, I have here like 19 fallacies, so I don't think we'll have time for all of them, but we will do the most important ones, okay? First one, you already know, it's called sorry, just a second. Yeah, I have it here. Yeah. First one we will do, it's called hasty generalization. Yeah? So, you already know this one. Yeah? Hasty generalization. Okay? This is induction, basically. Yeah? It's a fallacy of induction. Do we need any examples? No. Can we go on? Or everybody knows what we are talking about here? Okay? The second one is fallacy of composition. When we are composing something. And this one is true of part is true of whole. Yeah. True of part is true of whole. Okay, an example. You are from? England. Your name is? Ellie. Okay, Ellie is a great debater. Ellie is a part of England's national team for the World Schools Championship in debating. And because Ellie is a great debater, the team of England will be great on World Schools Debate Championship. What is wrong with that?
It doesn't depend just on her.
If Ali is a great debater, this doesn't mean, this doesn't apply for the whole team. Do you understand? So this is fallacy of composition. And then is also the other way around, and it's called the fallacy of division. The fallacy of division. Yeah? True of whole is true of part. Yeah? True of whole is true of part. And same example with Ali. Yeah? The team of England is a great team. Yeah? For the World Schools Championship. Ali is a part of that team. This means Ali is a great debater. So, do you understand? This can be, of course, can be true, but it is a fallacy because we don't know if the truth or the basketball players. Yeah. So we have a great American team. Yeah. And then we claim that because the person X is a part of that basketball team, he's a great individual player. This is not the truth. This can be wrong. Yeah? It's a fallacy. Okay? Be careful. Yeah, fallacy of refutation. It's called straw person argument. Straw person.
We have situation A, we have situation B, and we believe that every time when A happens, also B. Yeah? Okay? So we believe that every time...
This is very common in the debate. Proposition is proposing a model. They're saying something. Opposition is saying, they're saying something else than the actual proposition is saying. And then they attack this thing that they are saying the proposition has claimed. Do you understand? So the opposition attacks something that never came up in the debate. Okay? Do you understand? So the team opposition claims, you were saying this and this, but it wasn't true. Yeah? So they somehow did the whole story, they made the whole story up. Yeah? And now they're attacking something that didn't exist in the debate. And these things happen. Okay? Do you understand this fallacy? Yeah? Okay?
What you have to be careful is that we, as a consequence...
It's like you would, or not claiming, not necessarily, it also can be not necessarily claiming something that they didn't say, but you can, let's say, recharacterize the version. You recharacterize the version of the proposition and make it a weaker one, and then you attack this weaker version. Yeah? Okay? You attack it, then the weaker version because it's easier. Yeah? Okay, next one. Yeah, are you following me? Yeah. Next one is called circular reasoning. Circular reasoning. This basically means conclusion is a restatement of the claim. Conclusion is a restatement of the claim. Can you come up with some example? Anybody? Hmm? That comes to my mind. Circular reasoning. Basically, I'm the best. Why? Because I'm the best. Yeah? Do you understand? It usually comes up like this. I am the best, and then something really not important in between, and then conclusion, because I am the best. Okay? And this is what is happening in the debate, so be careful when you learn. Huh? Great. The next one is attacking the person, ad hominem in Latin. Okay? Ad hominem. Are you tired? Huh? Okay. Yeah. Ad hominem. Attacking the person. This is what I expected of you because you are such a person. Only you can say this because you are this and this and this. Oh, you don't talk here. You're a woman. Okay? This is fallacy. Okay? Next one, shifts in ground. So shifting your position. Shifts in ground, shifting your position. Oh no, we didn't say that, even though you did. But, oh no, we didn't say that. Yeah? You're avoiding the issue. Okay? And the next one is called seizing a trivial point. So seizing a trivial point. used in the West before the fall of communism. I just came up with this example. Before the fall of communism, each problem that happened in the countries in the West, they were saying this was because of we have some communists in the, so especially during the Cold War, or in the East, this is because of the West. Yeah? So in the Eastern countries, because of the fall, before of, the fall of the communism, you know, everything that went wrong in the country was, yes, because this was too liberal, or something like that, in the Eastern countries, yeah, that had communism. But in the West, yes, this is because of the communists. Yeah? So this is a fallacy. So I did with an obvious example, but you do it in a detail. So before you find a cause for your reason, this is called fallacy. Yeah? Before you find a cause for your reason, think what is the proper cause, if the cause is proper. Okay? And test it like we said before. Okay? Yeah. Appeal to ignorance is the next one. Appeal to ignorance. You cannot prove the existence of God. Therefore, we have a proof that God doesn't exist. You understand? Failure to disprove or proof is not a proof or disproof. Yeah? Okay? No? Once again, I will read you the example. You cannot prove the existence of God. Therefore, we have a proof that God doesn't exist. Yeah? So a failure to disprove is not a proof. Okay?
Couldn't that go both ways though? Because we can't prove that God doesn't exist, which is a proof that He does exist. Or the opposite way, can't exist.
You can't, once again, we can't.
Can't it go both ways? Because you said that we can't prove that God exists, therefore that's proof that He doesn't exist, but at the same time we could say we can't prove that God doesn't exist, therefore that's a proof that He does exist.
Yes. It can go the other way too. Yeah, both ways. Yeah. And it's a fallacy in both ways. Yeah.
Because the fact that there is no proof means that it's
Yeah.
a proof.
Yeah. Okay. To make it simpler, the fact that something that we say for some, this is not true, yeah? It doesn't mean that it is true. Or if you're, once again, if you're, okay, we say this is true, yeah? This doesn't mean, no, bad example. Bad example. No, I need circular reasoning. The fact that we cannot prove the truth, yeah, doesn't mean that it's not the truth or that it is a lie. Do you understand? Okay? Better now? Okay. Yes. False dichotomy. We were discussing about it before. False dichotomy. I don't know. Bring lunch or walk to school. I don't know. I can bring lunch and I. Okay? So, movie dinner. I can do both. Appeal to the crowd. Appeal to the crowd. It's called also a bandwagon effect. Bandwagon effect. Appeal to the crowd. This is an argument often used by the teenagers. So you, when you have to prove a point with your parents, but mom, everybody's going out, so why not me? Yeah? So, if everybody's doing it, why should you do it? Yeah? So, I don't. Do you understand? So, everybody has democracy. So, what are we still doing? Why don't we have democracy? No, this is not an argument for democracy. Okay? Do you understand? Yeah? Okay. This one. Appeal to emotions. I took this one out from a political speech. We have to attack Afghanistan. Just think of innocent children suffering after the tragedy 9/11. Do you know what I'm talking about? So, it's appealing to emotions. We can agree that the tragedy 9/11 is a problem, but the solution is not solving a problem. And the reason why are we attacking Afghanistan is because the innocent children crying. So like Afghanistan they don't have children who cry there and so. I mean, do you understand? So it's again avoiding the issue by, you know, appealing to emotions. Yeah? So this is a fallacy. When I was talking about passion before, this is not passion. This is a fallacy. Passion is speaking. You have to be passionate about it, but not appealing to emotions. Okay?
You could use emotions to, like, in your argument, you could use emotions,
but you show me emotions, you don't use emotions. You be emotional. Okay? But don't play with my emotions, trying to, you know, show me the poor kids that are crying, blah blah, and that is why we have to attack another country. Do you understand? This is not the same thing. When I was talking about passion, I was talking about you, your appearances on the stage, yeah? How do you act, how do you look like, how do you, you know, involve in the debate, and so on and so on. How passionate are you, yeah, doing the debate, okay? This is the emotion I was talking about, okay? So your appeal to debate, okay? Okay, emotions, yeah. Appeal to authority. Appeal to authority. Yeah, no substitute for reasoning. So, no substitute for reasoning. Basically, this is, I think it can be, this fallacy, you have to be careful, because sometimes we appeal to authority, and it's not a fallacy if authority is, you know, the right authority for our case. When we are saying it's, oh, again, it's from a Russian newspaper. I got it translated. But Putin says that democracy in Russia works. So, now, who is Vladimir Putin? So, and democracy and Vladimir Putin are two things that not in every term go together. So, it's appeal to wrong authority. But when I'm saying, I don't know, scientist this and this, or I don't know, Stephen Hawking is saying that, and something from his field, this is the right authority to be chosen. Okay? Do you understand? So be careful when choosing the authority you are appealing to. Next one, very common one. Appeal to tradition. Appeal to tradition. We always done this. Why don't we keep it? Let's do it. Furthermore, slavery was always a part of Europe. Why don't we have it? further on. Okay? Because tradition is not always okay. Why leave it now? Why leave it now? It's called a progress. Yeah? Why don't we do it anymore? Because we are a society in progress. So we are leaving something behind. So appeal to tradition is a fallacy. Okay. Yeah, then this simple ones. Appeal to humor. So don't make jokes if you don't have anything else to say. So we have to have the content first, and jokes are just the top. And really careful. Yeah.
I'm sorry, can I just go back to appealing to tradition?
Yeah.
But can't it also be like appealing to modernization or progress as well? Like we should legalize drugs because we're living in a
Of course. It's
So
the
it's
same
like
thing. Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah. Because and this would be another one. Because everybody else is doing it, we were saying before, for teenagers, because you know the modernization or because the West is doing it, that's why we should do it. Why? No? That's also a fallacy. Yeah, of course. Good. Yeah, appeal to humor. So you must have some content before, some arguments before, and then you put a joke really careful in your speech. Yeah, really careful. Yeah, but don't make just a joke. Joke is not a substitute for reasoning. Again, like appeal to tradition is not a substitute for reasoning. Joke is not a substitute for reasoning. Yeah. Yeah, technical jargon. Okay? So sometimes in debate you're using the word that first of all, if I understand the words and then translate them in the simpler language, they don't mean anything together. You are using it so you mislead the team opposition by those big words. So don't use them if you don't know what we are talking about. Okay? Debate should be real, should be living. It is a living thing, yeah? So it should be understandable for everybody. Yeah? So this is a fair debating. You have to be a fair debater. Okay? And technical jargon is not something people really fair. Okay? Yeah. Damning the origin. Is the next one. Damning the origin. This is from Slovenian newspaper. Our president doesn't care for workers. He's a rich man. You're a woman. You should do that. It's the same thing. So, do you understand? So, if the president is a rich man, this doesn't necessarily mean that he won't be able to take care for the workers, or he doesn't understand the workers, and so on and so on. Yeah? Yeah? Next one, wishful thinking. Wishful thinking. We know that we cannot do it, but still we could try. If we try harder, then maybe can we do it? So it's wishful thinking. It's a story. Yeah, it doesn't exist. It doesn't. It cannot go through. So stop it. Okay. Next one, cultural bias. Cultural bias. In other words, this is cultural sensitivity. What does this mean?
If we try hard and hold,
What does this mean?
Does it apply to all the countries?
Yeah. So why don't they implement this? Look how fine it works with us. Why don't they do it?
we will try.
In their country, and so on. This is cultural bias. Okay. What have you done today? One speech with parts of the speech, introduction, middle part, conclusion, yeah? Introduction, main idea, the argument should have an impact back to the idea. Do you understand that now? So, the three parts of the arguments are ARE, yeah? So assertion, reason, evidence, assertion, etiquette, reason, it's, let's say, give me the reason for the argument, so explanation of the argument. We have how many types of reasoning? Induction, deduction, and we know how many deductions? Three. Disjunctive, categorical, hypothetical, so cause-effect. What is hypothetical deduction? Cause-effect? Causal reasoning, okay. What is disjunctive deduction? So we are deciding for lesser evil or for better choice, let's say. What is the deduction? Categorical, yeah? Yeah, for a part, we have to pick a category, we have to identify an item in the category, and then we are making this conclusion. What is an induction? Induction? Yeah, generalization. Yes, okay.
And deduction.
Okay, what do we have to test by induction, with induction?
It's strong or weak.
Strong or weak? How do we test it?
Either strong or weak, negative or weak.
Great. Are there any strong negative examples? Let's move on. What else? Are we being cultural, geographical, in time, and so on? Okay. Deduction. Disjunctive. What do we have to be careful there?
There can always be a third option.
Okay. Cool.
Or
What
you
else?
can do both at the same time.
We can do both at the same time. Perfect. Categorical.
They can't put the most significant.
Okay. Okay. True or false. Okay. You were saying once again?
The most significant cause.
Yes. Is it the most significant cause? And we have to always speak and understand that we are socially limited. Yeah. We don't have the experience of every category, so be careful. Yeah. Okay. So the reasoning is over, and then the evidence. Be careful with the statistics. Yeah. With examples, but you will manage that. And then the other way around, rebuttaling an argument, 4 steps, remember them. We have to identify, specify what are we going to rebuttal, yeah? And then again, how do we rebuttal? Just make the argument irrelevant for some causes, and you are doing your job as an opposition. You don't have to negate, totally improve that they're completely wrong, because there are really few debates that teams are completely wrong, okay? And then remember, you can also negate, and usually you do, when you seek for those fallacies that you were talking about. Any questions? Okay, how did you feel about this lecture? Did you get anything from it? Or yeah? Thank you very much. And then we have afterwards, I think, no, you're not in the same group for the exercise?
No.
We are switching. Okay. Thank you.